Ever wonder what distinguishes top real estate agents from the rest of the pack? It's not just their sales records, it's how they present themselves to clients. And the most important presentation that we do as real estate agents is our listing presentation. This is our secret sauce to us actually having success as an agent or just barely scraping by. I'm sure this is going to hit home for a lot of real estate agents who aren't quite hitting their goals and reaching the level that they think they potentially can. Where I find with a lot of these agents is they are getting a lot of opportunities, they are getting listing appointments, but they're just not closing these people and turning those into actual sales. So I'm going to be going through exactly the listing presentation that you need to be doing in order to become the top 1% agent that you're striving to be. Number one is going through the walkthrough of the home. This is the initial phase of when you're trying to build your rapport with the potential client. And as you walk through the home, there's a good little tip that one of my mentors shared with me is every deficiency or anything that you see, you want to rub it with your hands. You don't want to bring it up. You just want to mention it because then psychology is going to come into effect where when you're talking about price and going over those things, they're making mental notes of all the little things that you rubbed and notice with the property that not be quite right. But when you're doing the walkthrough, you want to make sure you're asking open-ended questions that are going to lead to building rapport with the client that you can go back and gather that information for when you make your presentation, you know exactly how to streamline it to what their wants and needs are. Number two is crafting the perfect questions. So we have a set questions that we make sure we always ask each one of our sellers to make sure we unpack exactly what their motivation are going to be. And truthfully, this is more for us just to test the pulse of how serious these people potentially are. I don't know how many times you end up getting invited into a home just to give an evaluation for that person to not really be that serious when you actually get there and go through everything. They just wanted a quick evaluation and don't actually have any intentions on selling the home. So having those set questions is super important. So just to not waste your time, but to actually know who your prospects are and what they're trying to do. And if you want the list of those questions, they're all in a PDF file in the Apex group there. So feel free to join that community. We do bi-weekly training with top agents teaching people exactly what we do to get more sales and increase our revenue. Number three is you want to tailor your presentation specifically to the people that you're working with. I see this so many times with agents where they have this fancy PowerPoint and they're talking to old man Steve, who's been in the same home for 30 years. I'm telling you, he does not care how hard you're going to blast this new listing out on social media. Make sure you tailor everything to who your specific client is. Number four is find something that differentiates yourselves from other agents. Almost every presentation or every agent that I see has this really cookie cutter and they hit all these different angles and they talk about this, they talk about that. Find what really differentiates yourself and what sets you apart from the rest of the field. This is going to be in line with your unique selling proposition that's going to differentiate yourself from the rest of the field. Number five, identifying client expectations. You'll meet those sellers that just expect the absolute world from you because of the amount of commission that they feel like they're paying you, and they have really unreasonable expectations. You want to make sure you set those expectations right off the get-go, exactly what they can expect from you, and more importantly, what you can expect from them. This is something we always go over in great detail with our sellers, and why we have so much success is because not only is there expectations on how we're going to market the home, how we're going to do this, there's expectations on how the seller is going to present it. It's going to be clean, it's going to be smell-free. They're going to be accustomed to being able to do showings on short notice so we can get more people in there. And those expectations have to be identified right from the get-go. Number six, the power of broadcasting. So one of our secret sauces that we always tell to other clients is we have a database completely segmented specifically for these type of homes. And in our CRM, we have, if it's an investor property that we think these people are going to go, we start pitching that property pre-marketing to all our database of leads that we have, and we tell our seller clients about this, and it's something that they love. We're not just putting it out on social media. We have tailored broadcasting strategies to find the direct client that's going to be interested in purchasing their home. Number 7, your past triumphs. This is where I think you can make the most connection, is telling past stories of how you've helped people in similar situations and how you've had success. I will always tell this one story where we had this downsizing couple that used a family friend for 4 years trying to sell their home, and they eventually took it off the market. We're just extremely frustrated. That relationship was ultimately ruined because the their friend, who was their listing agent, didn't meet expectations, and didn't they had plenty of time. Where my team came in, we set those expectations, we made everything really streamlined, and we actually got it sold in a worse market for $25,000 higher than what they had it listed with the previous agent before, in a better market, using our strategies. I always tell that story to the clients that we deal with that are downsizing in a similar scenario, how we came up and overcame all this. The next point is you want to talk about your negotiation plan. And this is something that's really overlooked. And my personal opinion is where you really differentiate yourself from the rest of the agents is saving your clients money in negotiating and getting them more money when they are selling. So talk about how you have a system and different scenarios and things that you do when you negotiate, so that when it comes time, we don't get caught with our pants down and not knowing how to play ball with these next people. Because when you do get that offer, you want to make it work. And that's where having a good relationship with the other agent on both sides is you're working both forward, but showing your negotiation skills and establishing that. So when people come to your listings, they're like, oh, he's a good negotiator and he's priced the home correctly, is going to put more money in your client's pocket. The next thing we're going to touch on, and something that we experience every single time that we do a listing presentation, is the cost of overpricing. And this is where you probably got to focus a bulk of the listing presentation on. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is get the listing and build rapport and make sure they think you're the absolute person that's going to make sure they get the most amount of money. But it does come down to a lot of times of pricing the home. And I've seen it many times where agents will overprice homes just to get listings. It never sells, and then our team comes in there and we save the day and we go for a bit lower of a price, and the person, originally what we told them, is now $50,000 less because it's been exposed to the market. But you got to educate your sellers on what good pricing is and the cost of overpricing. I hear this every single time, and from other agents, that you just want to price it low for a quick sale, but you really need to explain to your clients what cost of overpricing, and that just comes down to building trust with them. And if you're someone that's looking to master your listing presentation, I got the exact presentation that we do to win almost every single listing presentation that we go on to, even beating people that have 20 years experience and thousands of more sales than me and my team. We have such a great approach for the way that we do listing presentations. And if you want access to that, it is in the Apex group there, where we do our bi-weekly webinar mastermind coaching that you will all get a part of. But if you want to take this another step further and you want me to personally help you build up your real estate business, I'm going to leave a link to my Calendly down below. Book a call with me and we can chat what it would look like in order for you to actually reach your real estate goals.